Welcome
to Shamba Shape Up Uganda.
We are traveling all over Uganda to find hardworking farmers.
We want to celebrate them while giving them the knowledge they need
to make their farms more productive and adapt to climate change.
We want to support them to get better yields and increase their income.
We will see how farmers can benefit from our experts' advice and turn their farms around into a profitable business,
while learning from each other in so many ways.
Join us on these journeys and share in the farmers' experience
on the Shamba Shape Up Uganda.
Put it up. You've lost us again. This looks like an estate. It's not our usual Shamba.
I don't know, but...
Why are you even carrying an umbrella?
Because of the sun. It's going to be hot.
Aggie, can't you tell that it is going to rain?
I don't have time for that, Probisha, but stop. This is the place.
Huh?
This is the place.
Are you sure?
Look. Hey, Probisha.
It is poetic.
I know these things now. I can look them up.
Let's go. Okay. Wow, Aggie.
What?
You've outdone yourself.
I don't know what happened.
What do you mean you don't know what happened?
These technology things.
Technology? Okay, at least there's 1, 2, 3 trees that we can call
But
fruit.
you also looked at the map, Probisha.
Who was holding the phone? Was I holding the phone?
That doesn't matter, but you looked at it and you are like,
Aggie,
yeah, this
you have
is
to
it.
accept.
Oh, Shamba Shape Up, you're most welcome to my home.
Thank you.
I'm Stella Namugaya.
Wonderful. So is this the garden?
Let me dress up.
Yes.
And take you to my office. A moment, please.
Okay. Office. As in office?
Office.
Hey. Bye. Hello. Bye-bye. Guys, you're most welcome.
Stella, where's the office?
Yeah, this is my office. As you can see, the bananas, the mangoes, the coffee.
I expected us to see tables,
chairs,
tiles, pens, and...
No, this is what employs me. I keep checking the books. These are my books. And it's where I earn a living.
Let's go.
Let's go and audit your farm.
Yeah. Auditing is the word. Stella is a very interesting woman. I wonder where her journey started.
I've been doing farming since my childhood. My mother did it. My grandmother did it. I looked at farming as the only way of survival. So I decided to make some savings for quite a good number of years because I knew the major important thing in farming is land. So the little savings that I had, I utilized it to buy land. On this farm, I have bananas, some goats, cows, pigs, bees, coffee, potatoes, and some vegetables. Of course, there are challenges. Long dry spell, because currently the seasons are undefined. And sometimes you may plant thinking the rains are back, and they disappear.
Aggie, I'm tired of this arguing business. What is it that you want to do today?
At this point that I'm feeling, I can do anything and everything.
Huh? Everything and everything. Good, then you're going to do the bees.
No bees, Probisha. But I'm telling you, I'm going to do matoke today. By the next time there's a story for matoke and bees, I'll do bees and you'll do matoke.
Oh, let's check on it.
Yes.
Okay,
see you. You've been trying to do a good job in your banana.
Yeah,
Wow,
I can
wow,
see, you can see
wow.
this one.
Stella is now witnessing firsthand the extreme weather patterns as a result of climate change and its impact on her farm.
We've been really affected by climate change. Before, we had 2 seasons, but now you just have to target every rain that comes, you have to plant. If you miss out on the other, you get the other.
As a farmer, you are aware of the effects of climate change on our soil. Without healthy soil, we cannot produce enough food to feed our families. First, we need to get the soil tested. So who better to call than the soil doctor, Mr. Etiang Joseph from National Agricultural Research Organization, NARO. A soil test is the single most important step in ensuring that your crops get the best yield possible. It will tell you if you need more nutrients. It will also inform you on what type of fertilizer to use and how much of it to apply. Fortunately, our soil doctor did the test for us last week.
Please tell us why you do not believe in soil test.
Yeah, actually, soil testing is something that has not been talked of. Even when you go to the district offices, wherever you go here, it is unheard of in Jinja. So we always have that belief that our soils are the best, and our soils being the best, why should I incur costs to go and test them?
What makes you say that the soils are good?
When it comes to harvesting, my maize is the best. It has 2 combs. So that is where I get the confidence from.
Why is soil testing important?
Plants need a lot of nutrients in the soil. So when we test the soil, we shall understand whether that soil can improve on the yields of your crops.
My land, as you see it, it is too big.
Yeah.
Do you have to carry the entire land to the lab?
When we come to your farm here, we observe your farm. So we move in your field in different directions. You collect various samples. Okay, then you mix that soil. That is what we call a mixed sample or a composite sample. That is the one we label, that we take to the laboratory. Then the results, we shall help you interpret and tell you this is not enough, this is enough, add this, and your plants will do better. So Stella, these are the results that we got from your field. We sampled the maize area. On that soil sample, we tested about 4 items. We tested the pH and we found 6.59, and that is within the range, a good one for crop growth. So your pH is optimum range, in other words, it is normal. Then you move to another thing we tested was the nitrogen. For your case, it was very low. 10 is actually below the optimum. It needed to be at least 50 and above.
Okay.
And then we also checked for phosphorus. It is optimum, but doesn't mean that you don't apply. If it is under the optimum, you need to put a halfway of the recommendation of NPK 50 kgs, which the lab gave, to supplement the phosphorus. Phosphorus is important for the crop to have the energy and also root development. Because if the roots are small, then there is no way they can take nutrients. And then the potassium is also important. We tested it and we found that it is also low. Potassium is also required for nutrient uptake to enable the plant to take nutrients properly and also enable the plant to manage the water movement in itself. So if you have low, then you get yields a bit lower than what you expected. So Stella, I would recommend you to get NPK 25-5-5. That is what will help you, and you put 50 kgs of that NPK per acre. Okay. How can you measure this? You can use a mineral water top. You remove that and you use it for when you are planting that and cover with soil so that your crop will perform better. If you do that, I believe you will really appreciate.
Maybe I'll give it a try.
Yeah. It would be nice to try so that you can tell the difference.
I will give it a try.
Okay.
And the cost?
The cost will not scare you. The minimum you can use for testing a soil sample can be about 50,000 Uganda shillings.
Which is affordable.
And that cost will be taken care of by the doubling of the yield that you are going to get in your farm.
Stella was telling us she was particularly anxious about her maize crop. So, having tested her soil and advised on fertilizer, we invited Dr. Godfrey Seru from National Agricultural Research Organization, NARO, to show her some new developments in maize growing. What seed do you use?
I use the indigenous breed. Yeah, since time immemorial I've been using it. We used it at home. My grandma used it, my mother used it, So it's the maize.
Generation.
Yeah. It has moved generations.
Oh, doctor,
Yes.
you have something to say.
Yeah, I can see the passion with which
Yeah.
she talks about that maize. Yeah, I've seen the plantation. I think we can do better, Stella, because you planted the maize with so many other plants. For you to get the maximum output out of that field,
Yes.
you needed to plant the maize at the recommended spacing, put in the right number of seeds per hole so that we have the desired number of plants per acre. But if you were to intercrop like you did, then design it properly so that you have lines for cassava, you have lines for maize, and lines for other crops.
Doctor, you talked about putting the right amount of seeds per hole. I don't know.
Yeah, what we saw there
Yes.
is a variation. In one hole, she has 4 plants. Another space, she moves 2 meters without a single plant. So I want to show you the spacing for grain. So slowly you can transform your farm
Yes.
so that you can grow maize specifically for feeding your animals with silage. When we are planting maize for food, we plant it in rows, and the distance from one row to another row is 75 centimeters. Then within the row, from one plant to the next plant is 25 centimeters. So that is the correct spacing. And it is always advantageous that we use a certified seed, because with the certified seed, it has gone through all the accreditation by the Ministry of Agriculture. It has been certified that it's disease-free, and the germination percentage has also been ascertained to be high enough for us to plant 1 seed per hole. Then with the certified seed, since it's disease-free, the yields are higher than where we use our locally saved seed. If we are growing maize for animal feed, we plant in rows. The distance from one row to the next row is 75 centimeters. Then within the row, from one plant to the next plant is 25 centimeters. But in each hole, we put 2 seeds to increase the plant population. We want the plants to compete and grow very tall so that we can harvest enough fodder.
I am glad Stella is getting her maize problem sorted, but we still have a lot more shaping to do. I think it's time to relax and take stock. It's a new day on Stella's Shamba, and there's still a lot to do.
We have tested Stella's soil and advised on what fertilizers to use.
And a top crop expert has shown her how to plant maize for food and fodder using certified seed and the correct spacing.
But there is still a lot more to be done on this farm.
Agi, do you know Uganda is one of the fastest growing populations in the world?
Really?
Yes.
How do you know that?
It's true. Because of the high population, people are migrating from the rural areas to the city. Do you know what that does?
No.
It increases demand for food. Huh? Now we need to adopt and practice smart agriculture practices.
Oh, these bees. I thought Stella said her bees were friendly.
Bees being friendly. Let me even go and find out.
Go.
With more than 75% of farmers in Uganda growing matoke, it is no surprise that people consume up to 1 kilogram of bananas per day. This makes matoke a good source of stable income for the family. We must make sure that we have a continuous supply all year round. I noticed that Stella is planting her bananas in one hole with the coffee to save on the labor cost for preparing the land. Clever, but I wonder if this is a good practice. We certainly need help here, and Dr. Godfrey Seruwu from National Agriculture Research Organization is still here with us to give us more advice.
It's not a good practice to have banana and coffee in the same place. It creates competition between the two. And the most affected will be the coffee, because the banana grows very fast and will tend to suppress the coffee. It will send out a very wide root network and take all the nutrients, and the coffee will grow very slowly. So if we are to plant both banana and coffee, we must intercrop properly. Of the two, you must select one which we call the primary crop. And the primary crop is always the coffee, because it's going to stay there for 20, 30, 50 years. Then the secondary crop is the banana. It will stay at most 10 years or less. When it goes out, the coffee remains. The spacing for banana and coffee is the same, 10 by 10 feet or 3 by 3 meters. So we plant the primary crop at the recommended spacing, which is 10 by 10 feet. Then we plant the secondary crop at 20 by 20 feet or 6 by 6 meters. It means in an acre of coffee, you would have 450 plants, then you have 225 plants of banana.
Now, doctor, what's your final advice? Because as you see, the coffee is already growing.
You can leave the coffee here and remove the banana. That is 10 feet, and that is the right spacing for coffee. Yeah, now for the banana, it will be 20 feet. So
I'll hold here.
So that is the 20 feet for the banana. From that coffee plant to this coffee plant is 10 feet. However, we have a banana plant here. It shouldn't be here. We have to remove it to give us a spacing of 20 by 20 for the banana.
What other practices she needs to observe to make this the right way?
As the dry season sets in, she has to mulch so that it doesn't dry up. The mulching helps to conserve the moisture. You can mulch all the other parts, but here, the mulch shouldn't touch here, because once it touches, it can be a source of pests. And secondly, as it decomposes, it may produce heat, which will affect our young plant. So we mulch and leave the space here free. The plant will make use of all the moisture that is stored around it.
Is it okay if I plant something within these gaps?
Yeah, it's okay to intercrop with something else, but not with maize and not with cassava, because those grow very tall and will compete with your coffee and banana. But things like beans, groundnut, those low-growing legumes, they are recommended because they also help you to add some nitrogen.
Bees are important for human life on this planet, but the sad and scary truth is that they are rapidly dying out. Beekeeping tends to often be seen as a hobby or as a side hustle, but can also be a good source of income for the family. And Stella knows this too well. She's actually become an expert in this field.
Why did you start beekeeping?
I looked at it as a practice that was less exploited. I had the land.
Okay.
I had the forage, so I just had to apply some little more effort to shoot my goals.
To add on to her knowledge, we have invited Isabire Solomon, who is an entomologist, to explain to us the importance of beekeeping.
What is an entomologist?
An entomologist is that person who studied insects.
Bees,
Ticks,
even ticks.
flies,
Hey!
every insect.
So why are bees important?
They play a very big part in pollination.
Okay.
And for a plant to bear fruits, it must have been pollinated.
Is this one of the hives?
Yes, this is one of the hives,
Okay.
and it's called KTB.
Are there several types of hives?
There are a variety of hives.
Okay.
Specifically for this case, we are looking at the Kenya top bar hive.
Okay.
There are other locals, but since we are transitioning from the old to digital, so that's why we like promote our farmers to take on this type of hives.
So what is the advantage of the KTB hive?
It is easier to inspect, which is not the case with the local type of hives. The local type of hives, you open once, in fact, when you are going to harvest.
Yes.
But this one can be used again and again.
Oh. So, how does this hive work?
This is the lid.
This is a xylophone. Eh?
It's not a xylophone. These are called top bars. It is where, when the bees colonize, it's where they come and put their comb. So every top bar carry one comb.
Okay, so what is this board here?
Oh, this one is called a queen excluder. It excludes the queen from laying her eggs in the honey area. So the queen is meant only to lay in this area in the hive. There are meshes of different sizes.
Yes.
You must be so keen. You might get a mesh with a size that will not even allow the workers to go through.
Or a size that will allow the queen to pass through. The queen will pass through and enter this side where it's not supposed to go, and again start laying eggs from this side. And at harvest, you harvest everything. And harvesting everything means that you're destroying the future colony.
So where does the queen pass to get into that chamber?
Their entrance is this side. These holes are big enough to allow both the queen and the workers to enter.
How then do we attract the bees to come into the hive?
In beekeeping, there's what we call baiting. Baiting is these practices that we do to attract our bees into the hive.
Okay.
So, and one of them is by rubbing this lemongrass in our hive.
This lemongrass has a scent like for a queen. Yeah. And normally, when you scrub lemongrass within this hive, the scout bees will come and get that smell of a queen, and they'll assume the queen is inside. And when they enter and they don't find the queen, they'll fight hard to get a queen to colonize this hive.
Then, after this one is done, we take this one to our apiary where we are going to keep our bees.
That's the place?
The place where we do the beekeeping from.
Okay.
Or hang it in different tree branches so that after they have colonized, we take to the apiary.
How many kilograms of honey do I get from this hive?
If your forage is good, you can get 10 kgs from this hive.
You talked about forage. Forage, what do you mean?
Forage for bees are flowers.
Okay.
Beekeeping must be done in a place where there are a lot of flowers. For example, here in Busoga, we do a lot of sugarcane. If someone is doing some beekeeping in an area surrounded by sugarcane plantations, it could be hard for that person to realize the 10 kilograms that Madam Stella talked about.
So what kind of forage would you recommend?
I would recommend fruits like pawpaws, oranges, mangoes. The coffee is also good. Coffee honey is actually the best.
The reason why she talked about coffee honey, it's because the bees picked the nectar from coffee flowers. Yeah.
How often do I harvest?
With this Katy bee, you harvest twice a year.
The first one comes in February.
Okay.
And the last one comes in August.
Does weather affect bee or honey production?
Since they collect from flowers, these flowers always come after rain. So if we don't receive rain, it means we shall receive little flowers in the environment.
In the environment.
And production will definitely be small.
And you have to mark the harvesting seasons. If you miss out and the rains come, the bees won't be able to go and work. They will consume the honey that they stored, and you won't find them.
Lose out.
Yes.
Okay. My hive is set up. Is there any maintenance that is required?
Oh, definitely, yes. There are pests that eat bees. There is an animal called a gecko. It is in the lizard family.
Okay.
So you must make constant inspections on your hive that has been colonized to see that you get rid of these pests. The other ones are the red ants. Remember, they put in honey. The red ants also need that sweet honey. So inspection is very paramount.
I think to understand all this, I have to see with my eyes. Let's suit up and wait for the sun to go down, and off we go. With increasing demand for honey in the country, the potential for beekeeping should be tapped so as to create employment opportunities for the people in the rural areas and generate good income. That's all we had for you this week.
See you next time on
Shamba Shape Up Uganda.
When you're to go farming, you have to start now. I call upon all women out there, to come and get involved in farming. Most of this beekeeping farming is very good because you can place there your hives within your garden, do your stuff, then when the season comes, harvest your honey, sell it off, get some side income.